Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and apologies for the Magello pictures going on in the background. I can tell you, we are very much not in Italy. We are, in fact, in America, and that certainly looks a little bit better, like the right kind of, right side of the world. We are on our way. Sorry, I'm just getting a lot of feed going through my background, but we are here in Road America here tonight for the Elkhart Late 250 Season 21, round number 5 of the RaceKraft V8 Vets Championship. Last week, we had a very awkwardly timed safety car that certainly shuffled things up. Tonight, there's a few more kilometers that's going to decide our racing action, and that is going to provide probably a lot more regular in terms of the strategy, but it did give us a new opportunity for a new leader and some certain shakeups at the front end of the field. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Scotty Rankin alongside of David Haynes, and David, this place has got its own little aura about it. It's somewhere that's unique. Supercars drivers tend to love it.
Well, we'll be doing a few more kilometers than at Long Beach, but we'll be doing them a little bit quicker than at Long Beach. We're up here near Green Bay, home of the Cheeseheads, not far from Chicago, home of the Deep Dish. Lots of great food around here, trust me, and there's bridges over the circuit to vouch for that. This is the racetrack, nearly untouched for a long, long time. It's America's national park of speed. It races through the forests in many picturesque places. The fans love camping here. They love spectating here. Whatever the series, IMSA, IndyCar, always a big draw. Supercars will be the same because they know what they're going to get. A beautiful racetrack, a beautiful place to camp, and some really high-speed action as well. Big stops at turn 1, turn 5, and at Canada Corner, turn 12 there. All of them at the end of some really high-speed running.
Yeah, and it's going to be a longer racetrack, like you said. Very, very similar in length as well to Bathurst. So conveniently as well, bang on 4 miles exactly, 14 turns. And the age-old debate, what makes a turn? Is it a turn? Is it a marshal post? Americans think very, very differently than we do over here. That much is certainly for sure. But we're going to be getting into what our racing action looks like. What does the strategy and the race information look like here tonight? Well, what do the drivers think of the circuit? In terms of things, tyre wear, it's on the higher side. Of the ability to fuel save, though, is right up there, which also creates a lot of race strategy. A lot of ability to overtake, a lot of long braking zones, a lot of long straights. Gives us that opportunity. Difficulties right around the medium, as is the chance of safety cars and the confidence level. Well, the drivers over the years have done quite a few laps around here, so it is quite high in terms of things, Dave. I think that sort of matches up with Road America quite well, doesn't it?
Yeah, there are a few places you can have a very, very big incident, particularly through the kink on the back straight at the very far end of the circuit after the carousel before Canada Corner, but then also in towards turn 5. Off the hurry downs, there's a weird little bump there, and the walls are surprisingly close as they protect this, the Speedville Bridge for Johnsonville sausages. Just had a look at their product range. I reckon their spicy Polish kielbasa would go great with many, many things, but obviously it's fuel saving ability around here and the race strategy variety that is key to what we're going to see.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, isn't it? Road America, you can overtake, you can sit back, you can be a little bit smarter with how you approach the track, you can save the tyre, you can push on the tyre. That's what the drivers love about this place, is there's a lot of different things you can do. What does the race look like here tonight? 39 laps gives us a 250-kilometre race duration. Going to have ourselves 80 litres on board to kickstart the race with a burn in the realm of 4.8 to 4.95 litres a lap. So it is a 6-kilometre lap. Very, very similar to Bathurst in terms of the numbers. Going to need to add about a tank of fuel, somewhere right around that 107 to 114 litre mark. 2 compulsory pit stops are going to be required, but you cannot get home until lap 16 or 17. And with that higher tyre wear range as well, that gives us a lot of opportunity with that longer run to see guys look for the overcut as well as the undercut, which I really like about this place. You can overcut, you can undercut, both strategies.
Yeah, and then the key thing to having a really large lap around here is that the undercut or the overcut, whichever one works best, can be really strong, because it's 6.4 kilometers later before your rival can respond with really big laps around here. You're not actually going past the pit entry, going past the pit lane that many times for how many kilometers you run and how much racing you do. These are the 3 lines on the pit stop strategy. And you're going to have to pick somewhere between red and yellow.
The only comment I will make about that is, dear God, I hope this is more interesting than Bathurst 1000. That I don't know how many people that put to sleep over the weekend, but I felt like Australia had a really, really good weekend in terms of catching up on sleep.
You're kidding me, right? Like, 1 safety car, 0 passes for the lead, 1 engineer hospitalizing himself, punching himself in the face, and 1 ATSB investigation into a light plane crash. That is a Bathurst of all time, my friend.
I think you need to. Do we have psychology services available to SimSpeed commentators? I'll have to have a look into that. But no, look. I mean, it was something. It was definitely a unique Bathurst 1000, right? When was the last time we had that few safety cars? And not for a very, very long time is the big thing. But I think what we learned from the weekend is we need a tyre that the drivers can overtake on, or at least a car package they can race on. Because they're certainly struggling to do that at the moment. They have been for a little while though. So. All right, what does our racing action look like here tonight in terms of our championship standings? Because last week did give us a really, really interesting swap up. So here we go. Scott Gamble still does lead the way. Ken Latta and Sean McNamara are your top 3. How about Damien Cairns, though? Really, really strong race. A great opportunity for him to get out there and potentially win a race. Just fell short, and you heard how disappointed he was about that. Chris Miller moves up a bunch of spots as well. Michael Stewart slides down 3, didn't necessarily go his way. Chris Dean as well. I think the hugest thing is just how many movers and shakers there actually are in the field, up and down.
There's an incredible amount of moving and shaking at Long Beach, and despite an incredibly dominant race pace performance, your championship leader Scotty Gamble was a little bit far away from being able to clean sweep and maximum points his way through that one. And then a few other drivers that, well, they foresaw the likelihood of a safety car and what it'd mean at Long Beach, and they were stopping early. Even if it was going to put them in traffic, they just wanted to have fuel in the car as early as possible. And then one of the things that happened is the safety car can happen. It happened. It benefited those drivers who sort of saw it as a possibility that could happen and brought their stops early.
Yeah, it certainly lended itself a lot of opportunity. And the biggest mover in terms of the point standings was also last week's driver of the day. Michael Whiting managed to pick off his first race victory in a while. That gave him the Chubby Buns Burgers driver of the day, which was phenomenal to see. I think everyone thoroughly enjoyed. Long Beach is going to go down, I can confidently say, as the race of the season. I don't think there'll be much of a contest about that one. In terms of what it looks like, though, for him, 19th was the starting position last week, and drove it all the way through to a win. Was in the right spot at the right time, and that was the big thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really exciting to watch it play out, and there was a little bit of how will it fall right towards the end. That's always what you get with V8 Vets, is the chance of a safety car is always sort of jeopardy out there that it could happen, that it could change things. And even when it doesn't happen, the drivers are setting up their strategy, setting up their racing beforehand, knowing that it's a possibility.
So we're going to jump across and quickly have a look at who's joining us on Zoom. I think it's going to be just about the same range of drivers. And Tim Nicol it was that we were getting a full Zoom in on to start us off. But Christian Smart's in there. Scotty Gamble's away on his pre-race P-break. Travis Hunt, Dino returns as it normally does. Fewens is out of the chair when we get back here tonight. You see McCune just walk in. Jeff Thomas, Damien Cairns, Dave Kirby. We're getting shuckers right around the wall. Michael Stewart, we're going to have to transition over and have a look at that track in the near future, I think, because we need to try and find our wall. And Sharpie's down there, down the bottom, as is Ken Latta on the bottom right-hand side. Righto, that is everyone joining us on Zoom here tonight. Can we get the Michael Stewart Zoom in? We've got to get that in nice and early, surely.
And I know Road America is definitely on that map because it is one of the greatest racing tracks in the world, no doubt, for all kinds of racing. Sports cars, open wheelers, Indy cars, stock cars. It's going to be with the American circuits, but it's sort of a little bit, what's the Salvador Dali painting?
Come on, Zoom, work with us, please. Might be a Michael problem, but I believe so it'll be around Daytona. Daytona's going to be the one that we'll be looking for. That'll sort of be giving us a marker. We'll have a look later on when we come back for a little bit of a check-in.
The American
in the
tracks
meantime,
are to the left-hand side of Le Mans because I can make out Watkins Glen.
yeah, and we remember Pocono is over there as well, I believe. So either way, we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll come back to you with an update. But time for our qualifying results. Yet again, Scott Gamble takes another pole position. He's just been an absolute menace at picking these up. But how about the driver that sits alongside of him? It is going to be that of Luke Grundell, who'll be very, very happy with a front row start for this one. This will be a huge opportunity for him. On row number 2, though, Matt Vanderkraan and John Latham. Latham has suddenly found some speed yet again. Starting to really settle himself in up towards the front end of the field. Doesn't have to cut his way back through the field. He will be looking forward to tonight's racing action. Off of row number 3, Logan Barnett, and last week's winner and Chubby Buns Burgers driver of the day. He is going to be off alongside of Logan Barnett, so Michael Whiting on the outside of row number 3. Row number 4 will be Blake Delaney and Michael Stewart. Stewart continuing his strong run of qualifying performances inside of the top 10. Rounding out our top 10 will be Troy Stone Street and Mark Poynton. And it's good to see Mark Poynton back up here, as it is for Troy Stone Street as well. Tim Nicol was a strong qualifier last time out. This time just outside the top 10. Good to see Travis Hunt finding some speed yet again as well. So both of these drivers will start outside the 10. Christian Smart, Paul Warwick will make up an all-fishy row number 7 out of 13 and 14. Row number 8 is going to be that of Chris Miller and Chad Lewis. Chad Lewis starting to find some return to form for him, which you'll thoroughly enjoy. Row number 9 is going to be Craig Friend and Damien Cairns. Cairns' strong qualifying performance last week. Road America, not as strong a finish for the Accelerate Sim Racing driver out of qualifying. Out of 19th and 20th, there's going to be Jeff Thomas and David Kirby, both drivers that benefited massively from the strategy last week. Unfortunately for them, they will be a long way back with some work to do. Out of 21st and 22nd, Ken Latta, deep in the field in a second, just about a second off the pace, is a long, long way back, and he will not be happy about that one. Greg Sharp also alongside of him. That might have been why Ken Latta wasn't in the Zoom feed, because he was off resetting himself before the race. Scott McCune will start just in behind him with Dean Flavel. We'll be checking in with both of these drivers throughout tonight's journey. Out of 25th and 26th is going to be David Nash. A better qualifying performance for him. Robert Crisdell out of 26th. 27th and 28th is going to be Brad Doble and Darren Crosby, which will take us all the way back to the 30s, which will be Stewie Hall and Jason Fewens. Get outside of the 30 to Matty Parker and Stephen Varga. And Lorne Mackay, Gary Buckland a little bit further back as well. Be good for Lorne to have teammate alongside of him for the run, Damien Kents. John Gallen is continuing his season of growth and improvement out of 35th with Robbie Griffiths alongside of him 36th. 37th and 38th is going to be Darren Goosey and Shane Randall from towards the back end of the field. One of the last drivers to set times. First driver not to set a time, Michael Taliancic. Mario Reale will be off alongside of him. And I believe that is going to take us through the field of 40 drivers. 40 drivers here for Road America as well. That does present a lot of opportunity. The 6 kilometer lap as well means that they can get fairly spread out.
One interesting qualifying for those fishy motorsport Mustangs. Ken Latta and Chris Miller, drivers that we often talk about inside of the top 10, starting what was it, 15th and 21st?
Yes. Well done. That's exactly where they're starting. Yeah, so a fair bit of work for those drivers to do. But that will set us up for the Elkhart Lake 250. And 250 kilometers to come here tonight means it is going to be a little bit of a longer one. Just over a 2-minute lap time means that it's going to be about 100 average, just under 180 kilometers per hour, probably around the 170 range, which is quite a reasonable average speed in terms of longer runs here tonight. with that one, we're expecting a fuel run, that first fuel run as well, to go somewhere in the realm of about 15 to 16 laps for the first stint, which will be a big thing to get out of the way. We have had, whilst this racetrack, Dave, doesn't tend to create safety cars out of incidents whereby engines didn't get blown, we have had safety cars here in the Vets in the past. Drivers just downshifting too early. I think that's going to be the big threat here tonight as well.
Yeah, you need relatively tall gears around here. The end of straight speeds are pretty high, so when you do make a downshift, it puts a lot more revs into the motor, especially if you grab for a couple quickly, dropping from, 6th down to 3rd. So I guess something to look out for. Just before we get going, here's some Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin facts. 2020 census, population 941.
Tiny town. Most of those people would work at the track, surely.
I don't know. I don't know what you do in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, but some bigger towns nearby, like Sheboygan, which is very fun to say.
I know the lake, I talked to a few American buddies, they always mention the lake here is actually very, very beautiful. It's not just known for the track, it is also known for the lake and apparently really nice water skiing. So that's my understanding of the racetrack. Features corners with such fun names as Canada Corner, Hurry Downs, and Thunder Valley, which they do know how to name some corners around here when they don't stick letters at the end of numbers.
This is such a weird soapbox to be on at this time, but I hate when it's like turn 3, turn 3A. Just call them turn 3A and 3B. Anyway, we're about to get racing, and all of that will be forgotten when 40 supercars roar into life.
You've annoyed me with it now, so I don't know about that.
Problem shared, problem doubled.
And for those of you wondering, sitting along at home and going, what's 3A? I don't know what that looks like. 3A is the tiny, tiny little bit of an adjustment of the steering wheel between turn 3 and turn 5. Although turn 4, so the problem I have with it is 3A is the tiny kink to the right, 4 is the tiny kink to the left. Which, again, inconsistencies. Ugh. Either way, revs are going to start to rise here in just a few moments. We are getting set for a start here from the Elkhart Lake 250. 39 laps from Road America. Gamble on pole. Can he get the launch? He's been so good off the start thus far. But Grundell from the front row got a better getaway. Has it look deeper in the field as they all try to file through. Everyone's too wide at the moment. Nobody really showing the nose 3 wide. Warwick's looking to try and grab himself some spots on the run into turn number 1. He's got a really, really good start. That yellow car in the background. And I tell you what, for the second time this season after last week, we have a new leader that is not named Scott Gamble. Grundell has got some work to do, though. He's got to hang on to this spot for the entirety of another 6Ks.
Tony Stonestreet got caught up and spun around in turn 1, but has got going. That's not going to bring out a safety car. It's all about up front here, and that's the high speed, the slipstreaming that sees Scott Gamble right back into the picture and putting Luke Grundell under pressure on this opening lap.
What do you reckon? Just immediately goes into fuel and tyre save conservation mode? I get the feeling he might. Latham's also managed to get up a spot on the run at turn number 1. He moves his way into 3rd spot. Logan Barnett is doing a supreme job. He moves and hangs on to 5th spot. Whiting also hanging on to spots as well. Blake Delaney, Michael Stewart, Tim Nicol and Paul Warwick round out your 10. Nicol and Warwick both gaining multiple spots in the opening lap to move themselves inside the top 10 mark. Poynton has lost a couple spots and now sits just outside of the 10.
Well, this carousel's free admission and fun for the whole family. Craig Friend has not made one as someone's turned him around on the exit of the Hurry Downs on the way into the carousel here.
And David Kirby cutting his way through the inside of the carousel.
Now he's offline and slow before the kink, which is such a dangerous place to be.
Oh, that's the fence. Robbie Griffiths has found the fence as they come through the kink on lap number 1. On the outside of the kink is a dangerous spot to be. And on the outside of the kink has seen Robbie Griffiths not only find the fence, but lose a bunch of spots as well. There's also another car in the background that's got some damage. Robbie Crisdale and Greg Sharp have apparently maybe come together, but either way, they're both dropping a little bit of time. And chaos abounds on lap number 1. Crisdale going to try and fire it to the inside of Matty Parker and gets tagged for his troubles. It is all happening in the V8 veterans on lap number 1. They did not wait very long at all. Everyone's squeezing, looking for a little bit of space. This is much further up the field. This is Warwick Sharp, I believe. No, it will actually be Ken Latta and Travis Hunt going toe-to-toe. So Latta has found a bunch of spots on lap number 1. He will pick himself up one more, move into 15th. And this is Chad Lewis trying to get down the inside as well. So Hunt loses 1. Is it about to become 2? Yes, it is. And there's a big old slide on the way into turn 3 as a result.
Sideways off of 1, sideways on the way into 3. Travis Hunt is moving around at the rear end every which way. As if there's damage or one of his tyres is going down or something, but I guess once you spin them up, sometimes it's so easy to just keep doing it. And what a move through the field Ken Latta has been making. I think he's picked up 7 or 6 now as he goes through, and he's still in search of more.
Oh, Travis Hunt's going to try and fire back. Does get down the inside as they come up and over the crest. That's big. Big old lock-up, big old slide, trying to hang on to the car. And I get the feeling that 32 machine is in for a very long, wild ride of a stint, because that much sliding that early into a race stint means that he is going to be in trouble later.
He's sliding it on the exit, he's locking the rears on the way in. There's a few things that are not working for him when he's under pressure, when he's trying to fend off another driver, when he's battling door to door. So he just needs this little bit of air right now. Let the temperature stabilize in those tires that he's been sliding around, putting on a smoke show, and just have a tidy lap, and the rest of the race can come back to you. But he's a bit wide off the kink.
Very wide off the kink. He's going to manage to stabilize himself once again. Hopefully try and settle that car down. Finally, back up front, I tell you. Luke Rundell is still hanging on to things. And how about Logan Barnett's made his way past Matt Vanderkram, moves inside the top 4. He is on the move. The 9.5 Sim Sports machine.
Him and John Latham, and then also Tim Nicol moving up those spots in a 9th position, as you can see on the graphic. Paul Warwick up 4 into that top 10. And Latham picking up the fastest lap of the race as Scott Gamble goes back to the race lead, and the pit window is open.
We are going to be able to make pit stops any time from now. Last week, this was the optimal time to get in nice and early. Let the tyres wear just a little bit. There might be a few drivers that are looking to do that. It will be very, very long run home. Stephen Vargas on the move, though. 9 spots gain, looking to make it number 10. And Michael Talianchich opted to start from the tail end of the field. He's looking to try and cut his way through up to 31st as well.
Another spot going on here for Ken Latta, but he's got to keep working for them.
Thomas will show the nose in the run down the hill to turn 5. No spot for him, though, when he gets there.
Yeah, made another spot on him, and Thomas couldn't come back. Ken Latta now up in 14th place, 7 positions gained, as you see there. Got so much speed that I'm sure he wishes he could have qualified inside of the top 10. You don't know exactly why he started where he did. By the time you get, racing now, and he's worked his way up to 14th, 6 seconds away from the race lead. Still a lot of cars between him and Scott Gamble leading the way.
Gamble did get back to the race lead. Now has things under control. But Luke Rundell has managed to tick off laps led here tonight, which will be a big boon for him. But how about John Latham starting to get close to these guys? Grundell's going to pinch a break as they ran down to Canada corner that time. This was the change for the lead. Grundell covers to the inside. Gamble gets a huge toe around the outside, gets the nose ahead before they get the braking zone. Grundell does fight him, but just a little bit, recognises that there was sufficient lead to probably going to lose that spot.
Grundle could be under fire towards turn 1 again. We saw him lock up and slide through Canada corner. He didn't lose the spot there and then. He tried to park the bus a little bit, but now he's got a lot of drivers thinking, maybe you're off the pace. I got to get past you if I'm going to go with the leader. And next up to try to do it and hold that inside. Hello, John Latham. Not going to give anything for free to that driver who led a couple of laps. Grundell's dropping big time now.
Yeah, maybe taking just a little bit too much out of the tyre. Not only is he dropped off the podium, he's also dropped outside the top 5. Now gets back to 6th place on the road. Whiting will clean him up, and now he'll get the opportunity to try and stabilise exceptionally tight to the rear bumper of Michael Whiting. So that was 3A we went through. This is turn 4 just here. Whiting's going to cover him to the inside, and I get the feeling Whiting wants to hang on to this spot because it's going to be very, very tough to earn them back, and any opportunity he can get to pick them off, he's going to try and do so.
tough couple of laps there for Grundle, and when it's this close, slipstream in these cars, we never think of as being particularly strong, but once you've got these super high speed, long straights, 3 of them per lap, it is keeping the pack a little closer together than you would have for Long Beach.
Mackay's turn, John Latham by the look of things. Sorry, it was Logan Barnett. My apologies. That's gone around as well as John Latham. I can tell you Paul Warwick just about went around as well. So Latham is going to go dropping like a stone. And Paul Warwick had a moment on the way into the carousel and lost a bunch of spots. So it's all kicking off. It's a wild ride around Elkhart Lake. No, Latham was just in deep. They were both in deep.
So leading car was deep and wide, almost caused a bit of a check-up. The car behind got into him. There's a snap that's gone into the side of Paul Warwick, who did nothing wrong. The car on the inside was trying to carry too much speed on him. So it's really starting to kick off now. Big dramas. So Latham's wide here, and then it makes the driver behind have to change their line.
He just gets tagged on the exit. So he's made the corner.
Yeah, he's slow on the exit, and the other driver Barnett had also bombed in pretty deep, so they've both had a bit to play in that.
Oh, Tim Nicol, big moment. And then gets into Warwick.
You know who's made so much hay out of all of this? Ken Latter.
Yes.
Oh, he's gone and made another one. Easy, as you like. Shelling peas.
7 spot. 14 spots now, so he's going to be the most improved right now. Alianchich has probably got a few more spots that he can earn in the near future, but for right now, sits second on that totem pole. And have a look at them all going at each other in the background. It'll be Tim Nicol and Chris Smart both having a go at each other. Because Nicol was all out of sorts down at turn 1.
Their ant colony's less busy than this. Look at it all behind Ken Latter as he was heading down towards turn 5. They were sort of picking 2 lanes behind him. They were all checked up, and you've got these packs happening now. The moment a battle breaks out, it brings a whole heap of cars in behind it. So it happened at second place and formed a pack there. It happened with Ken Latter here, and the pack's gone wild underneath the Speedville Bridge on the way into the carousel. 4 cars smoking.
I can see a lot of smoke going on. And Logan Barnett, by the way, for that incident we witnessed.
In the middle of it, sorry.
Yeah, so it'll be Damien Cairns, which I'll pick up a replay on, but an update on Logan Barnett is that he's picked up a drive-through penalty for that incident with John Latham, but it's effectively ruined both of their nights. And I have a feeling Chad Lewis might have been one of the other drivers that was involved, because he's on the radio to report it to Race Control at the moment.
So I think I stick by my interpretation of that Latham was it, made a mistake and didn't hit anyone, and then Logan Barnett made a mistake and did hit someone. So that's what the driving penalty is going to be for. Chad Lewis off the road at the final corner is going to hurt him so bad all the way up towards turn 1, and it is a long run.
Remember, for Lewis, he started in the mid-teens. He has now fallen back outside 20 and deep into the 20s, and has managed to recover, but he's going to be 29 by the time he gets to turn number 1. Michael Taliancic, by the way, up to 26. He's plus 13 right now.
Not as good as Ken Latter, plus 14 to that 7th position. I told you they were a little out of sorts as far as their qualifying relative to the pace that we always see out of those guys.
Check out Dean Florell, though. He's also plus 10 spots to 14th at the moment, so he is on the move as well. I think for Dean, it's just been a matter of keeping himself clean. So, replay finally going to tell us the story of what happened up here. So, it was Lewis and Damien Cairns. Oh. So, Tim Nicol runs wide down at turn 8. Everyone just sort of checks up trying to get out of the way, and it's because, is that Travis Hunter or Jeff Thomas?
Which I think was Lewis, comes across, gets Cairns. So Nicol doesn't actually make any contact, but they move across trying to not get bowled by him as he's sideways through the grass coming back onto the course.
So much is going on in this. Here's the onboard. Yeah.
Straight
It's
back up, man. That's what put all the smoke in the air. Is he got shoveled sideways at 150 k's an hour, and then pat on the back, send on his merry way there, Damien Cairns.
But yeah, that was a wild old ride. Good chunk of time. Team Phil, we are keeping an eye on. And that is the highest heart rate I think we've seen out of Dean. The mid to high 120s. He's approaching 130. He is into the 130s. Here we go.
Well,
at this rate, his engine might be running on heartbeats.
Yeah, the heart rate matches the shift light there as it gets all the way up to the top 6 gear right before the braking zone. Because he would have had the perfect view of, he would have driven straight through the smoke of Damien Cairns that we saw a couple of laps ago as well.
Do you reckon he's white-knuckling that steering wheel just a little bit at the moment?
Yeah, we'll have grip strength of a dancer. Get a load of this for Vanderkran.
He always qualifies well, does Matt Vanderkran, but his race pace is never right there. Luke Grundell's surged back into the top 3. Remember when he fell outside of the top 6 a couple laps ago? Yeah, back inside the top 3. What's happened to Michael Whiting? Oh, no, he's in second. Whiting's all the way through to second. That's what's happened to Michael Whiting.
So maybe that's why you were wondering what happened to Michael Whiting. He's got a lot of space to himself. He's not entirely stable at the moment. Look at how much space they've all ended up giving Scott Gamble. He says, see you later.
I can tell you that there's a couple drivers already on the radios talking about pit stops. One of them was Tim Nicol, and Travis Hunt, I think, just said, yeah, I think I'll be following you in, was the conversation. So
surprisingly tough pit entry here because you can't see the yellow cones for the start of the pit limiter until you've already had to brake for them. So you've got to practice it here. You're uphill and just over the crest. It's like you come over the hill and there's a stopped car there on the road or something. So you've got to know and have practiced the pit entry here a couple of times. You're slowing down from a lot of speed. It's blind, and pit lane speed limit's then 72 k's an hour, and it's a long lane here in terms of the distance.
yeah, there's actually a few cars. I see another car has arrived to the pit lane this lap as well. I think it might be Stephen Varga as the third of them. So that'll be 3 drivers into the lane. So Tim Nicol was one of them.
Damien Cairns, Tim Nicol, Stephen Varga and Chad Lewis, the 4 drivers who pitted this lap. Paul Warwick and Logan Barnett pitted last lap. And Barnett's already served his drive-through. So served the drive-through, took a pit stop. Logan Barnett's 40th place at the moment, but then I hope he can come back in this one.
We should just see how long John Latham's going to hang out there, because someone that can benefit from an undercut. He's back inside the 28th spot at the moment and about to make maybe a couple more spots on Lorne Mackay and Craig Friend as he's about to get aggressive on the run down the hill.
Stone Street 2, a driver who could maybe try to stop early or do something different. And you're a very low chance of going off the lead lap, stopping early as well here, because it's a big lap, over 2 minutes, 6.4 kilometers, all of that. But in saying that, look at those pit lane times of over a minute. Like I said, long lane.
Okay, so just listening, we've just issued a post-race points penalty to Tim Nicol for the incident between himself, Chad Lewis, and Paul Warwick. Is it Paul? No, sorry, my apologies. Damien Cairns? Damien Cairns.
Yeah.
So it's just basically saying there was enough in that, yeah, because you rejoin the track quite aggressively, which you absolutely cannot do.
If Lewis hadn't moved, he would have got spun around by rejoining Nicol. So it's like it's a Newton's cradle kind of contact there. That Nicol coming across the racetrack moves Lewis and then moves Cairns.
Yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Style of issue, unfortunately. Hey, the footage is cleaned up for Michael Stewart. So I might get an opportunity to have a look for where Road America is. And the red dot has been applied here tonight. to greatest racing circuits.
Yep, just above his head there. So top left from Watkins Glen, underneath Pikes Peak, underneath the Top Gear test track at Brands Hatch for some reason. But yeah, no, there's Road America just above his head. Yep, it's right at the front of mine.
Good spot. Good spot. And no red dot signifying that, so he wanted us to go on the search, and
I think we complained the one time. We said it was no fun the one time he did it. So
yeah, but
if anything, V8 Vets, they do listen. They do listen to us.
He's enjoying the game. He's thoroughly enjoying the game. So it's like playing Where's Wally, and it just gets more and more frustrating the longer it takes you to find where Wally is. It's a good thing we found Road American Icing. Good job, Dan. Old star for you.
I'm good at geoguessing too.
Okay, geoguessing. Enjoy some geoguessing. Is this Grundle and Whiting? It is indeed Grundle and Whiting. So Grundle is on a flyer here tonight. He's driving exceptionally well.
I mean, he's got speed. It's just the thing is he had a little lock up and slide. Then they were monstering all over him. He was offline. They were monstering all over him to turn one. He lost a couple of spots, but it was never because he was slow. It's because he had that... Well, first of all, he got passed by Scott Gamble. Maybe fought it a little bit too hard. And then, yeah, had a lock up at Canada Corner. And from there, he was, you know, in the battle rather than serene sailing.
You know what I am enjoying about the Vets field, though, and it's because I've been getting back into some racing this week, but the art of the overtake and setting somebody up to make them block you at the right moment, particularly when you're all on the same setup, or you're all on a fixed setup, so that equalises the field. We're doing a lot of GT3 racing at Interlagos in the fixed cars this week, and yeah, just harassing people and really challenging them to get themselves offline. Luke Grundle challenged Michael Whiting, got a good run, and on the run down to turn number 5, Michael Whiting is not going to fight that one too hard. I get the feeling Michael Whiting will just go, yep, you can have it, and I'm going to go back to fuel saving.
Yeah, so good job by Grundle to reel in Whiting. He did have that little bit of slide off of turn 5, and that's what Whiting doesn't want to see. It's like, okay, I made it easy for you, now go quick, stop sending smoke in my face.
Said apply that smoke to going faster, please. I'd like you to tow me around the lap. There's a huge old battle pack, by the way, from about 12 through to about 28 or so. It's probably a little bit less than that. Something's apparently happening. Just keeping up an eye on Christian Smart, because I have been keeping an eye on him and listening to what he's doing. He is doing a mega amount of fuel saving at the moment, so he's one of those drivers looking to try and open up the strategy. How about Ken Latta, though? Plus 16 spots. It's 5th on the road.
Smooth, getting pretty tall gear ratios to get around here compared to Long Beach. Throttle 4th there. You can even just get a peek at some of his inputs in the right there. So if you don't see much green and you don't see much red, then he's not, you know, overlapping the inputs and sort of coasting the car towards the corners and through some of the segments.
Enjoy looking at a little bit of data as well. I can tell you strategy's starting to open up. Fastest driver with the fastest lap so far, remember, Jordan Latham 205.216, he's just on a 205.8. Race leads about half a second off his best lap times as well. So the times are falling off a little bit, but not as much as necessarily might have thought. So there's enough fall off to say the undercut is an option. And I believe somebody else just fired in the lane in this lap, so Greg Sharp's come to the lane to change things up. And first column is the fastest lap on the timing tower, and the column on the right, most recent laps. That gives you sort of a feeling about how much the pace has fallen off. But Grundle, he's only fallen off about 3/10, so he has looked after those tyres supremely well.
And I'm not getting any toe on this lap either for Grundle. Now he's out in second there, 6.5 seconds behind the race leader. So it's his clean air pace that's on show at the moment. Certainly
Was it
Grundle.
Was it just me? Did Matt Vanderkran just do his fastest lap of the race?
Yes. It can be hard to know if, say, maybe they had an off-track laps 1 to 5. But he's caught his toe.
So what we're hearing is legitimately his fastest lap of the race. So unless Vanderkran was doing a lot of saving or was getting checked up left, right and centre and just trying to create some strategy overlap for him, but he is driven right back to Michael Whiting.
Yeah, and certainly there were plenty of drivers that, as you see, Grundle picked from second place there, wouldn't have had much clean laps at all in the first 5 or 6 with everything that went on. So now it starts to spread out just a tiny bit. They start to be able to, you know, put a whole clean 3 sectors together.
Seeing some more pit stops coming out. Luke Grundle is going to be the first of the lead pack to dive the lane. So this will be interesting to keep half an eye on, as it ended up being about 6 seconds back from our race leader. So how long Scott Gamble will wait. Of course, splitting up the race into 3 even segments is going to be 13 by 13 by 13. As we head towards the back end of October. A little bit of a spooky number.
Here's Mr. Shaver Shop himself.
Oh no.
Right.
He's going to come out next week and have that on the back end of his car, Dave. What have you done?
I don't think he's gonna chuck it on without the bank transfer clearing first, though. We haven't fully teed that one up.
Just keeping an eye on John Latham's through the field to 17th spot at the moment, so he is absolutely cutting his way back through. This is a battle for 11 spots, so Travis Hunt leads the way in this little pack from McCune, from Flavel, from Crosby. Like I said, Dean Flavel is just having a really, really nice, quiet night in terms of staying clean. He's doing a brilliant job of that. I would say from Dean's perspective, he's probably improved since you've seen him enter the series, since you've entered the Commons through box with the V8 veterans here, Dave.
And given all sorts of helpful diet tips week on week as well, so I'm not sure he's taking those, and they're not sponsored.
I did have a Zinger Burger box at dinner last night, so I'll say that tonight's powered by Zinger Box. I'm eating them just for Dean.
The good thing about eating that is that, yeah, all the grease will stay with you for a couple of days, so you'll be powered by it for a while.
If I score runs at cricket on the weekend, I'll also thank the Zinger Box I had for dinner on Wednesday night.
Fantastic. That's 11th and 12th there, Travis Hunt. Closing in just a little bit towards turn 1. He had a couple more pit takers, Jason Fewins and Robert Crisdale. So, broadly speaking, the fact that the drivers are staying out this long in the first run, they think traffic costs you a lot, and they think the chance of a safety car is a lot. Traffic sure cost you a lot at Long Beach, but they thought the chance of a safety car was bordering on, you know, $1.01, and so they all opted to stop early there, even though the traffic was costly, because the safety car chance was high. They're running long today. Safety car, well, we've had incidents, but none of them look like they're going to bring out the McLaren safety car.
Are you enjoying seeing the new McLaren getting around out on track as well, Dave?
I'm not a super fan of it. 296 GT3 is my favourite GT3 car at the moment.
Yeah, I have been driving a lot of the Ferrari. The new McLaren is doing extremely well in all the GT3 racing at the moment. And I'm just a fan of not driving the overpowered car. I'll just drive anything else. I hate it when something's too good. Give me a challenge. Make me work for it.
2 plus 3.
5?
Okay, not challenging. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. 15 times 15.
225?
Good, I'm glad you knew that one.
I think I know Yeah, I think that's the highest I can go in the times table
Yeah.
that I know off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's the same. That's my one. Whoa, hang on. Something's just happened to Jason Fewens.
He would have been on his
It's
outlap.
going to trigger a safety car, though. And that was Stewie Hall just redressing.
Mohammed Ben Sulayem wouldn't have liked his radio message though. You know, we're racing drivers, not rappers or whatever. But yeah, so Fewens had just pitted. I think he's around a bunch of other cars that had just pitted here.
So this is the run at turn number 5. And Fewens has just come out of the pit lane ahead. So he's defended it all the way to the inside of the room. Yeah, that's an odd one. You can definitely see the intents there to redress just about straight away.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the outlap for Fewens, I thought. So maybe he was trying to be very, very tentative, but he was also very, very keen on trying to hold the inside on the way to the corner. But he's been, you know, from behind there.
Still looks like he's got reasonable pace, so keep an eye on. Just keep an eye on John Latham, who's just running wide. He's just run wide 2 corners in a row, so he is having a lot of problems at the moment as the tyres are starting to wear. And have a look at this pack that's getting banked up in back here. I did catch David Nash, Tim Nichols a part of it. Troy Stone Street leads the way. Brad Doble, Robbie Chrisdale, and Chad Lewis.
Look up wide, get the grass, not great for Nichols, I think it is there. Dave Nash and Brad Dover right behind him. Michael Whiting's going to pit from second. Ken Ladder's going to pit from third. You've got a whole rush of them from inside of the top 10. Scott Gamble stays out in the race lead, as he's done. He's got enough of a gap that he doesn't need to react immediately. Mark Point also opts to stay out. Busy pit lane.
I think we're just hitting the maximum distance that a lot of these guys can go as well now. So 1 lap sort of shy of that. And I can see Michael Whiting's previous lap, his lap 13 was 2:05.867, so he's still got reasonable pace. So I'm just going to keep an eye on Grundell. He just ran a 2:05.7, so Grundell was a touch quicker, but not a massive amount quicker. So the tyres are not wearing massively. That's the big thing. I did think Grundell took quite a long stop, so I would expect Grundell to pop out probably traffic. Stewart's taken a short stop. He's gained some track position. Peter Kran has gained some track position as well, so he's done a phenomenal job. Keeping an eye on Tim Nickel at the moment.
Bit of action through his rear wing and his mirrors. Global sitting there at the moment.
Seeing long stops for a number of drivers too here, David. So I think a lot of people are taking a lot of fuel on board at the stop.
And it is a relatively high fuel consumption track, I think, as well, because you've got low tyre wear, which is giving them good traction off the corners, so they're getting to full throttle early. And then you have so many times long straights that you are at full throttle. Nichols wide again at 5. He's struggling to stop the car there.
He's in and around a lot of cars with a lot fresher tyres than him at the moment as well, so he is going to get harassed and harangued for a little bit here. And still on the outside, Brad Doble's really trying to take this spot away, and that's going to allow Chrisdale to get down the inside as well. So Tim Nickel pit all the way back quite a number of laps ago. Doble's running wide. Now Nickel's running wide. Now Lewis is getting checked up. They're all just getting into each other a little bit here now.
This is not what you want when you stop early. You're hoping to find a little bit of clean racetrack. You're never guaranteed it, but you're hoping to find a little bit of clean racetrack.
Chad Lewis! Just had a huge moment on the way out of the carousel, but this is a replay of what went on. So Brisbane runs in hot, and so Doble went in deep on his own. And we're just hearing. By the way, drivers, there must have been an issue with the server setup because 17 incident points tonight. Race is over. DQ limit is 17. I believe what they meant to do was have no DQ limit and just penalties every 15 incident points. Oh, She's Smart's maybe having some issues at the moment. I believe he's going to be gone. In the meantime, Chad Lewis trying to get down the inside of David Nash, and that's going to check Nickel up once more. This battle pack is really getting spicy.
We've got 4 cars out front of this race that have yet to make their first stop as well, so they're looking like they're going to run to 16 laps. Taliancic, I mean, look at that. He's gone from 39th or 40th, whatever it was on the grid. He's leading the race at the moment because he hasn't made a stop. Part of that is testament to just how long the plane is here at Road America, that Scott Gamble, all the pace and advantage that he's had, still makes his stop, and Taliancic from the very tail of the field goes all the way through to the race lead, having not stopped.
Yeah, so we'll be expecting a number of these drivers to be in this time behind. Tally's out of the last one now, so that's the driver we expect to be leading the race. Taliancic is into the lane. Let the alarm go off. John Gallen's also gone to the back end instead. Lorne Mackay, Shane Rendell. We wait for him to enter the lane, and I get the feeling he's going to be into the lane. Yeah, he will be. So that's it. Everyone has now completed their first round of pit stops, and some drivers might be starting to come out there second.
Yeah, what do we have as that critical get home number?
16 and 17, which we are now on. So Michael Stewart's jumped a bunch of spots with a very, very short pit stop. He's done a phenomenal job there. Mark Poynton is up a number of spots as well. Getting ladder goes ahead and sets the fastest lane of the race. Oh, yep.
Well, I mean, I'm not actually... I shouldn't say that until I see who started it. But I think I know who's annoyed. And who's redressing, or are they?
Bugger! Getting a run up. This is going to kick on, and it's on the run all the way down to turn number 1. They are 3 wide at the moment. And Fewens doesn't look happy. I can tell you he's on the mic. Oh, he's been tagged again. He's on the mic to race control reporting an incident, and he's got another one to report as well. And Michael Taliancic has had an issue in the lane.
So those yellow cones back there are where the pit lane speed limit of 72 kilometers an hour starts. When you're driving up the pit entry, you can't see them until you're already on them. So we'll try to come back to it. Here it is. From the driver's perspective, what's he done?
Okay.
So he done the downshift from second to first, and it's skipped up some speed.
Did he not get the limiter? So there's no pit lane speed limiter, and then he just picks up the throttle to navigate the pit lane, and he does speed. It was because he missed the pit lane speed limiter.
The pit lane speed limiter turns on the headlight flashes that you see everyone else had, but he doesn't have them.
And Michael Taliancic has now left the server. And I got an update for you on another driver who was doing phenomenally here tonight. Luke Grundell was having an absolute banger of a race. He has now had some sort of issue and dropped from the server as well.
And on the same ISP as Christian Smart, so they get fed by the same substation. They both have the same malware installed.
Their computer overheat at the same time. something I'm looking at. It's getting more cooling bits and pieces at the moment, so I need to order a new PC case. It's not getting enough air. So, absolutely
supposed to breathe with no air.
It's airflow, it's air intake, it's a bad case for intake. I did not order this case with airflow in mind, I ordered it with prettiness in mind, and I'm paying the price. That was netcode there from Varga. Oh, and then it's just plucked him on the way around.
Glad you pronounced that correctly, but yeah, there should have been space, but they've basically interlocked wheels ugly.
And then I think that is both of them just getting a bit annoyed with each other, which you can understand. Varga is annoyed from being plucked up, but that's just a part of the incident, unfortunately. And Fewens doesn't know that he's been netcoded, and then this all goes on down at turn 1. Gary Buckman. I'm really curious about what went on there. Lifts out again. This Fewens and lets Buckland by. So I do wonder.
He was preoccupied at the time as well, so maybe he thought, I don't want to. There's already so much going on for him. It's like, I don't even know what actually happened there, so I'll just let it go. This in the midst of the race is always when I want to look at who's in a good position and has also taken a lot of fuel. And I think Ken Latta, Michael Whiting, Blake Delaney, those are a few of my drives to say, hey, after the second stop, they could really be in this for the top 5.
Point in?
I don't have a pit stop time for
in the lane for about the same length of time as Michael Stewart is what I have. It was at the end of lap 15, so. And also, here's pit lane entry. Where he is. Jeff Thomas has gained a few spots throughout the course of tonight's racing from 19th on the grid, so he's doing quite well. Probably have a low fuel load at the moment. Matty Parker is up 21 spots. But I believe he did take a very short pit stop as well. And,
yeah, so he's sort of 10 seconds of fuel short on some of the other cars he's around. So if you say 10 seconds longer, second stop, look 10 seconds backwards from where he is right now in 10th, and you'll find him maybe door-to-door with Tim Nicol in 18th. So that's the effect of the short fuel at the first stop. Is it flatters you very nicely right now, but there are some, you might end up actually back battling 17th and 18th place after the second stop. It's always a game of how much can I take at the first stop and not lose too much track position. Because you want to take plenty of fuel, open your strategy options, give you a fast final stop if it comes to it. You also don't want to be mired too deep in too many battles with cars that you're quicker than.
meantime, we just watch and we watch and we wait. We're expecting the first of the next round of pit stops to kick off anywhere from about lap 24-ish. Run time will give us a 15-lap run to home. 26 will be the nice even stint.
Bit of a vibe there at turn 1. The front didn't want the apex for Michael Whiting as he was right up behind the rear wing of Ken Latta. I'm watching this at end of straight speed. You can see some 280, 282 k's an hour, depending on the past 270, 275-ish braking in there for Michael Whiting. So it's decent clip of speed around here.
Was doing a lot of saving, I think, in the first stint. Christian Smart was another one of the drivers who saw doing a lot of saving, but unfortunately for him, backlash issues has sort of robbed him of being able to convert that quite strongly. But staying relatively packed up together too, which is one of the things I was enjoying about the first stint. the meantime,
Big moves here, isn't it?
yeah.
Chris Miller +6, Matty Parker +21, Scott McHugh +12, Travis Hunt, he's on a par. But decent lick of fuel, so 3 seconds more of fuel than McCune in front of him, 6 seconds more of fuel than Matty Parker in front of that. So he'll be able to shave a bit of time off his final stop.
But for now, it's just a bit of a holding pattern for Travis Hunt, trying to gain himself some ground. Do you remember that you wouldn't have been around actually, David Haynes? The last time we actually came here was last season, and we put Scott McHugh on camera, and then one of the weirdest moments I've seen in sim racing, somebody blew an engine basically right in front of him, and he had nowhere to go right as we flicked to putting him on camera. It's good to be seeing, though. I will say he's actually had a reasonably clean season. Weird things have not happened to Scott McHugh thus far this season. I don't know why, but he keeps allowing us to tune in to his Zoom feed when it tends to give us weird things happening to it. But by the way, he's still allowing us to tune in.
Now, you warned us at the top of the program before we got racing, but everyone must have the new crankshaft because I haven't seen any engines below yet.
It was a well-done project as well to get that many manufacturers and distributors working globally to try and get enough crankshafts in. I would say would be the big winning story of Bathurst. Damien Kansas, who we're riding on board with at the moment. Something Danny Emmons just pointed out to us is he actually upshifts with the paddle and downshifts with the sequential shifter. You don't upshift with the sequential shifter, just downshifts with it.
So it's a downshifter.
You can see now through this section he's going to upshift. The hand doesn't come off the steering wheel again to go back over that shifter. And by the way, Dan Hall's tuning in over on the stream as well. He's over in Germany at the moment for the International Sim Racing Expo instead of racing here tonight. Dan, you could have raced tonight. You're at a Sim Racing Expo. You should have just asked for the rig for a little while. I'm actually really keen to chat to Dan when he lands back in Australia as well.
I love
unique
experience. Diese rig benutzen. Vielen Dank.
You clearly took German classes at some stage.
I've been not to Dortmund, so I can't recommend any eats or drinks.
I was somebody else I was chatting to the other day was actually looking at what flights cost to get over there. Was like, actually, it's not too bad. I'm thinking about going now all of a sudden. So there's a huge battle pack actually forming just outside the top 10. Chris Miller, Scott McHugh, Matty Parker and Travis Hunt. Now I can tell you Travis Hunt was about 5 millimeters off the rear bumper of Matty Parker on the whole run down to turn 5 and the brakes. And they're all just about a few millimeters apart at the moment.
Matty Parker's got some pretty older tyres though compared to the rest of them in this group here. So that's also how he got some of those positions that he's gained, is an undercut by stopping early onto those new tyres, clawing a little bit, but then eventually you have to pay it back. So doing well with that in mind to stay with the pace that Chris Miller is leading here in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th.
Sometimes you can also look after the tyres a little bit better with clear air as Chris Miller runs a
Miller's mowing.
And he has been out mowing the weeds off the kink. And now Travis Hunt trying to line up and have a go at Matty Parker, but he just can't get close enough at Canada Corner. There's enough tow to sort of all save them. Parker's going to get compromised on the exit out of here. If Travis Hunt can maximize it, no, he can't. Now, he's going to have to try and pick up the tow, although Parker is not getting a tow from the cars ahead at the moment, so this is going to provide an opportunity. Now everyone comes across the right-hand side of the road to cover. Travis Hunt thinks about another look at the right-hand side, gets an overlap on the left. Parker's going to throw it in nice and deep, parks it up. Can he get back the switchback? No, he can't. No opportunity down there. McCune harassing the rear bumper of Chris Miller as well. Miller will not yield. No one in this pack will yield, and it's becoming a masterclass. Offensive skills on display, but right now it's nearly like looking at a 1-1-8 setup in defensive football.
Underneath the cheese bridge, local produce to keep you going on a race weekend. Drop over under.
On the run from McCune with the crisscross, now gets up. Does still manage to maintain being alongside. Now they're door to door as they get to the kink. He doesn't quite get the tip-in point. Presents an opportunity for Parker. Parker on all the rubbers is going to bang wheels, bang doors. If he keeps that up any longer, he might even end up with a bent rim. Now he runs it in deep. Presents an opportunity for Travis Hunt to get up the inside. Is this the opportunity that Travis Hunt's been looking for? Can he get the job done on the inside of the carousel? The grip's on the right-hand side of the road. Is he going to try and build the run out the other side? Yes, he can, but it's only the short shoot. There won't be enough time to get it all done, and everyone in this battle pack is losing time to each other. There's a few more drivers that have driven their way into it. Damien Cairns is now attached to the rear end of the pack.
Yeah, and then that next group of drivers, Paul Warwick, Troy Stone, Street Team Flavel also closing in. So it happened early on in the first stint. The moment you try to battle side by side, suddenly your 3-car pack assumes all of the next drivers behind, and you're an 8-car pack. And so battles create blockages, create bigger battles.
Now they'll all try and settle it down once again. You just wonder, when does Parker fit out of this queue? And Travis Hunt says, right, you undercut on the first run, I'm going to do it on this one. And he's going to look to dive in the lane. Everyone in that queue is losing time. Stone Street's going to come with him. And here they come. Lap 23. He's going to trigger first of the stops to the end of the race. It's going to be a 17-lap run to the end of the race from here. No, we're on to lap 24 as we cross the bridge. So it'll be a 16-lap run to the end of the race.
Ladder got past Matt van der Kraan, and then Michael Whiting's also gotten past Matt van der Kraan. So it starts here. Latter has a good run. Same age of tyres for these guys. Oh no, Van der Kraan's been off on the live pictures as well. Bad to worse for Van der Kraan after this.
Whiting will get through, shuffle through on the inside, and he just accepts defeat.
We're watching Miller leading his pack. Now he's been off the road. That's where Van der Kraan locked it up. But in the same place, Chris Miller has gone and done it and tagged the wall. There we go. Ooh. God helps. Not once, but twice. Now that's where McCune went for the crossover underneath, like the lap before, and it was very close to this happening. And now this time around, it does happen.
Annoying, because you can just see McCune's got pace on him, and he's just getting, you know, he knows that he's quicker, but being quicker and getting the job done are two very, very different things. And he's gotten impatient, and he's going to have to pay a hefty price as a result. Is that John Latham? That is John Latham back ahead of Chris Miller. He's doing quite well. The results will say 10 spots down across the course of the night. But when you consider he dropped to about 35th or so, he's overtaken about 20 cars. Good to see Jenna McCrowan dropping by as well. Over in YouTube chat. To everyone who's joining us right across the Sim Racing network of SimSpeed as well. So a big shout out to all of our fans. Being informed it's just YouTube we're broadcasting to this season for RaceKraft V8 Veterans Season 21.
working towards the second stop for a bunch of cars. We've seen a few peel off a lap ago, a few have peeled off this lap. They're on the right-hand side of screen as they make their stops now.
Yeah, well, we've hit that window. Damien Cairns, remember, was in the back, just in behind Travis Hunt prior to that stop, and Hunt fed in. And then Matty Parker's coming in from that battle pack as well, as has Chris Miller. So the only one that was in that group that hasn't stopped now is actually Scott McCune. We're expecting he'll probably get a penalty at some stage. I'm seeing Greg Sharp's got a black flag as well for, I'm going to say it's probably speeding in pit lane.
No limiter engaged. Until now. And there it goes on. So same deal that we saw from Teljancic, I think it was. From off-board, it's actually so clear because of those flashing lights.
And a couple of issues with trying to get that limiter engaged as well. Either way, it's been a long stop now, unfortunately. Luke Grundell, by the way, did get back into the lane, into the server. He's 2 laps down, unfortunately for him. Which is frustrating because he had a lot of pace tonight, and that looked like it was going to be a dead set podium from Luke Grundell. I do want to recognise the pace and the speed that he showed though tonight, and there may be an opportunity to reward him at Chubby Buns Burger because that was such a good opening stint from him. He drove back through, he got onto the podium again. I feel like he was good enough, Dave, for a podium here tonight, and to have it be internet outage that prevented that, it's frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was really gutsy in the opening part of the races. It you know, reminds of when Max Verstappen was maybe kind of dominant in F1 or Lewis Hamilton was dominant in F1. You're kind of cheering for anyone who'll just make him work for it as he battled Scott Gamble. And so it was exciting. Gamble sort of didn't do anything rash and then bided his time to strike back. But you have to admire, you know, Grundell's fight in that unfortunately going to go relatively unrewarded.
Just long run pace as well. Ken Ladder's just gone out and overtaken Mark Poynton in Nick third spot. Albeit Poynton's got a short stop on the first one, so he will lose. As he's got a bill to pay later on.
Ladder's first stop was alright. So I'm backing him in for third here.
So this will be interesting.
Sorry, the highest running car that's made its second stop at the moment is Travis Hunt.
Updated on Scott McCune as well, drive-through penalty for him. So the SimSpeed curse continues. Scott McCune.
Now, when you opened that can, was it a ring pull situation, or did you have to open the second drawer and grab the can opener?
The ring broke off.
Oh, you hate that.
Yeah, so did have to go for the can opener, and it was shouldn't have had to have gone for the can opener. One of those style of situations. Mark Poynton is being overtaken at the moment by Michael Whiting. They're going to go toe-to-toe up underneath the Corvette bridge. He's managed to hang on to that one. This is a stout defense from Mark Poynton. He's doing a phenomenal job.
They grow some pretty slippery grass around here. That's one of the things I've noticed. Anytime the cars are off the track, so difficult to carefully and in a controlled way get them back on the racetrack. So when you do run the far side of some of these curbs, you play a very dangerous game, and then on the way into the kink here, you see a flash of the brake lights sometimes just to rotate the car. You have been wide off the back side of it there.
I can tell you as well, for if it's relevant, lap times we're seeing for these guys tonight. And if anyone ever wanted to compare a NASCAR next-gen car to these cars, it's about a 2:10 to 11 lap for next-gen NASCARs. So they're about 5 seconds a lap slower. It's all in the brakes.
And the downshifts, maybe?
Yeah, there's an extra couple of downshifts and the engine braking to help, but the brakes on those cars feel uglier than on the new tyre model they've just received for road course racing. You feel very, very dancy, skatey, loose, uncomfortable. And Michael Stewart's now the leader of the cars who have made their second stop. At the moment, he's caught up to Shane Randell, and Randell will have to make one more stop, so this is old versus new in terms of tyres. And McCune, yeah, has actually just been messaged to let him know to pass on the right of Shane Randell. Randell's going to lift out and yield this one. The run of turn one, he recognises this is not his fight and he is happy, and there goes the lift. So that one's now been all resolved. Poynton's going to rejoin the racetrack behind Stewart. I'm actually keen to keep an eye on where does John Latham resurface as well. Tell me he's got to drive through a penalty for speeding in pit lane. No, he hasn't, so we should be okay here. Too bad from him, just down the road from Dean Flavel. Tim Nichols going to rejoin in the middle. All in all, that's actually not gone too bad for John Latham. He will be certainly capable of a top 10 finish with 12 laps to go here tonight.
And look at that, he had the clear track, so he came all the way across to the racing line for turn one. Other cars exiting the pit lane don't have the same luxury as that. Van der Kraan and Poynton side by side underneath the Corvette bridge. Van der Kraan having the inside up as close to the podium for a bit for Van der Kraan, but then he had a bit of an incident. It was a half spin, I think, down at the Hurry Downs left hand. Turn 5.
Turn 5, yeah.
Before the Corvette bridge. I've got some opinions about Corvettes and my favourite models.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear those.
So, favourite, best to worst, it goes C3 Corvette, C7 Corvette, C6 Corvette, HMAS Castle Maine, C8 Corvette.
That's going to need some explanation, but I feel like you want the explanation. You want me to ask you more about that.
No, that's pretty well the punchline, is that one of them was like an actual naval Corvette.
I should have known that one. I should have seen that one coming. I've actually ridden the Corvette Stingray. My ex-father-in-law actually owned one at one stage, and got to do some cruising around in it, which was quite unique. Beautiful car. Very, very beautiful bit of machinery.
Steve Irwin's not a fan, but there you go.
See, that joke landed. I got that one. Finally, it's taken you a while to get one to land. I'm waiting for you to... What's the other one? The Parker... The band?
Oh, Crosby, Young, Still, and Nash.
Yeah. We'll get there. It's
very circumstantial.
Got to be on track together. Jeff Thomas is doing a reasonable little spot on track at the moment as well, so he's actually had a reasonable night at the office, given that he sits inside the top 10 and has made his second stop. He's plus 10 spots at the moment. And I think our field has actually been cleansed over pit stops. We're only waiting on Gamble and Paul Warwick to come back down the pit lane. Apologies, Paul Warwick has actually done 2 stops. That's just an issue with the timing.
Scott Gamble was the last to make that second stop, so he ran the middle stint pretty long. It's kind of his prerogative when he had a nice little lead of 10 seconds or a tiny bit more going to his name, so he did not need to react immediately to what those behind are doing. To run just a couple of laps longer, and then in the final stint here, just a little bit fresher tyres to continue to fend him off whatever circumstances the end of the race might bring him.
Just keeping an eye around our field as well. 25th to about 31st is actually quite close on the road at the moment as well. So one of the benefits of Vets is that we do get to see quite a number of races going on. Logan Barnett, Scott McCune are two drivers who should be having better nights than they are, and they sit 30th and 31st on the road, and they will be having a battle, as is this battle going on at the moment. And I believe that's Stephen Varga we're now looking at as well, which it is in the battle for 25th with Darren Goosey, Robert Christel and Will Mackay behind these guys. And they might be joined in the near future by Gary Buckland and Scott McCune.
Yeah, Buckland will have fresher tyres than Kai or Christel, for example, so that could help. Right up towards that wall on the pit straight. It's weird like that. You've got grass to the left-hand side on the pit straight, but to the right-hand side, big concrete barrier. It has led to a couple of incidents, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like race starts, stuff like that. Lap ones can be pretty hectic here. If someone gets squeezed into that wall, they immediately ricochet back onto the racing line.
And the problem is, particularly standing starts, if somebody just doesn't get going, initially stalls the car, has an issue, has a drama, this is one of those really, really tight ones where there isn't a lot of runoff room or anywhere to go. So Christian Smart's probably feeling a little bit annoyed at the moment. He sits at the back end of that battle pack that we're just in behind as we ride on board with Logan Barnett. And these guys are about 2 seconds back from Gary Buckland at the moment. Buckland's just over a second back from that little pack. So the trend is that all of these guys are coming towards each other.
Yeah, McCune and Barnett is the drive-through drivers club. This one.
Jason Fewens is the unlucky victim of Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Unfortunately had his head knocked off a little bit earlier on in the race.
It's 1.5 turns clockwise to reattach.
Is that what he was doing when he let Gary Buckland through? Just moving over to the side to screw the head back on?
Sort of looks like an owl. So you've got to put it on facing backwards, turn around forward, and then give it one more full rotation until you hear it click and it boots up again.
You know what though, Buckland's actually driving quite well. He's doing well. He will catch the back end of this pack. So this is going to get a little bit tighter here in a few moments because, again, the drivers at the front end of the field is Stephen Varga and Darren Goosey going at each other. It's going to be a good old-fashioned stoush, I think.
With Chris Hale and his older tyres to hold on here as well to fresher tired cars in front of him battling.
Tisdale went for the supreme undercut all the way back on lap 18. Now he's got an opportunity because Goosey is going to cover him all the way to the grass on the left-hand side of the road, and Goosey's on the brakes a little bit earlier than Chrisdale would have liked. Chrisdale was thinking there's an opportunity to get something done here. Christian Smart is going to jump out of the way and allow Gary Buckland to come on through. And I think he's actually going to let McCune through. So McCune is now in this battle pack. This Christian Smart, the reason we're looking at Christian Smart, he's 38th, is because he's a lap down, unfortunately, due to the connection issues earlier on. And then, that is Logan Barnett right there. So, yeah, we are going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned set. 11th, 12th, and 13th are next to each other on the road. 14, 15, 16, tiny gaps, but they're quite close together. So, there's quite a number of drivers out there at the moment that have got other drivers to sort of circulate and fight with. And second, third, and fourth are on the road next to each other as well.
Here's another benefit to Scott Gamble of running really long in the middle stint. He's just whacked a new set of tyres on with a relatively light fuel load and knocked in the fastest lap of the race. 8 seconds ahead of the battle for second. Battle for 6th, battle for 9th, battle for 14th, battle for 17th, and the supplementaries are a battle for 22nd, 25th, and 29th.
And can you let me know the lotto numbers for tomorrow night as well whilst we're at it?
Yeah, I think the lotto numbers go up to 69.
I don't. It's what, 50?
Don't know. Actually, don't really care.
I've never had to pick my own lotto numbers, so I couldn't tell you either. Craig friend David Nash. Nash just got the pass. Friend just got the pass on David Nash. This is 11th, 12th. And I believe Scott McCune just made an overtake as well on Gary Buckland. And then we're seeing this continue on between Matt Vanderkraan and Mark Poynton. This is a good drive for Mark Poynton.
It's a good drive for Jeff Thomas too, and he's just at the back there watching him fight on. They're having a bit of wheel work. Not fully white knuckles, but always, if you're not, ahead of the car and working it, it'll work you over.
It's always interesting to know who uses gloves and who doesn't as well, which I think is really interesting. I just picked up some new racing gloves myself. I've been enjoying them the last couple of days. Oh, big lock up for Mark Poynton just in front of these guys. It's going to present an opportunity for Jeff Thomas to get a lot closer. Out of the final corner. Yeah, this one's just going to stagnate out a little bit. I can tell you that battle pack for 25th though is getting spicy yet again because Steven Vargas still leads the way. 25th. And it is down to 32nd, I believe, on the row. No, it's not. My apologies. Just back to 31st, which is Logan Barnett has now joined that pack.
It's going to be a fun next couple of laps for Scott McCune. He's just caught that group that we thought he was going to catch. So, and Cairns in front of him. No, yes, Mackay, Goosey, Christel Varga.
Christel, I think, has just got by Darren Goosey, so he has got that job done. And now he'll try and get down and get after Steven Varga, but he's got some work to do. In the meantime, McCune is absolutely getting racy with Lorne Mackay. And Lorne, again, another driver looking to put up the white flag and just be a little bit conservative here. Recognises he's probably not going to be able to hang on to that spot. So McCune served the drive-through penalty, and now he's getting the elbows out and going on the move as well.
Yeah, that's the start to the exciting lap that I'm predicting he's going to have. Covering it off into the braking zone at turn 5, but he's getting about a car length deeper into the braking zone everywhere on these guys. So he's that full car length deeper on the way in towards turn 1, gained a car length on the brakes compared to Goosey.
I think he's just trying to read Darren Goosey at the moment as well. I think he's trying to set this one up. This lap it's sort of just going, how deep? The moment, just sort of recognise what sort of speed he's got relative to those around. Troy Stone Street, Brad Doble and Chad Lewis. I can tell you, we've had a viewer for John Gallen joining us in the chat as well. Troy Gallen's joined in. Good to see you, Troy. And I tell you that Scott McKean's about to get that job done on Gary Buckley. Darren Goosey. He's just got to his inside, so he can pull that one off. In the meantime, though, John Gallen's had a successful night at the office. Up to 24th spot, but importantly for him, plus 11 from where he started. So qualifying didn't necessarily go his way, but he's making the most of it. So
We'll get to that next pack as well.
Mike
Poynton's just got Vanderkraan here as well, by the way, in this three-way Mustang fight. We checked in with it earlier. Vanderkraan was leading Poynton, Jeff Thomas catching him. That's Poynton in front.
Just got to keep half an eye. couple of different spots at the moment, I can tell you as well. Second, third, and fourth on the road, Michael White and Ken Latta. And so this is the run through the kink. It's turn 1. And then Poynton gets the job done down the inside at turn 2. Turn 3, my apologies. Turn 2 being the turn that you don't apply any turning for in the middle.
With the Gantt or whatever an Arians is. Not spelled with a Y though, so it's fine.
Feeling there's probably not going to be too much fighting in this one.
Apparently they're lawnmowers. Ah. The more you learn.
Well, given the amount of lawn mowing we've seen from a number of these drivers tonight.
It's an all-seasons business too, because they make snow blowers and lawnmowers. That's everything you need in Wisconsin.
How about this one? Travis Hunt's just had something happen.
Troy Stone Street's lost an engine. He's lost an engine off Canada Corner. I think that's where it is.
So, we've got incident point penalty at the moment for Robbie Griffith, which means he's also 2 points away from a disqualification. 17 points tonight will get you disqualified from the server. So, yeah, he's going to get it back to the pit lane, and Travis Hunt is going to have to serve a drive-through penalty. Got himself inside the top 10, and he's run out of incident points. It's the same for everyone. With the only thing, yeah, look, it's not the norm, but it's the same for everyone. So he's going to be disappointed.
Tom Fold in his final laps for race control for some of the drivers walking on a bit of a tightrope.
Please calm down. There you go, there is a Singer Burger box in there tonight.
Hot and spicy. Still officially on the limiter, so that's not a resting heart rate by any means, but it's down from the heady heights of 120, 130 early on in this one.
Looks like he's settled a lot more into his business, although there's still opportunity on the table for Dean Flavell, particularly given John Latham's just ahead of him. We're trying to work over Matty Parker at the moment. Parker is trying to have a go at Paul Warwick. And they're all trying to line up and have a crack at Chris Miller, and Travis Hunt's going to serve his drive-through penalty, which means this becomes a battle for the last spot inside of the top 10. Oh, Matty Parker's going to have a real late go at Warwick down the inside and ends up backing out of it. This is going to provide an opportunity for John Latham to close in. So this one is something they're deciding, and we've got another car around as well. And it was out of the Varga pack, I believe.
Lorne Mackay's been off.
Oh, Lorne Mackay is in the fence and done. Lorne Mackay's night is done. And the fishy drivers are all having a stab at it. So Ken Latter's got his way through and has managed to pick up second spot on the racetrack. And I can hear Blake Delaney is fuel saving like crazy in the background as well. Was that Whiting that was fuel saving?
Now Warwick's been sent in the concrete wall and lost his motor.
Oh no!
Oh no, he's still got his motor. He's lost his bumper. And his headlight like a Peugeot TCR.
That's down at turn 5. This comes through the kink and on the run down to Canada Corner, and Whiting's going to have a crack back at Ken Latta. Really show the nose. Well, Mackay has made it back to the lane, so we did see his car. That was the last corner. He was into the barriers. This
kind
one's
of
not
curves a little bit
done.
on the way in there. So if you're a tiny bit wide, you can get outside tyres on the grass on the turn in, and once you're there, you can end up skating way along the grass. Might have been what happened.
Well, either way, he ended up a long way off track, and Michael Whiting's going to end up a long way down the inside of Ken Ladder. At the moment, they're still going toe-to-toe. They got a little bit of leeway. Delaney's going to buy into the equation now. When you get an opportunity for the three teammates to go neck and neck, toe-to-toe. Make a point of stating there's no team orders over at Fishy Motorsports. There's no team orders, but there are drivers lifting to try and help their partners out. But in this occasion, it is just going to be a head-to-head stoush. Whiting got a little bit of support from Blake Delaney. Not a lot. And they're still side by side as they come through the bottom end of the hill. Up onto the Corvette bridge to turn 6. Finally going to yield? Yes, he does yield as Michael Whiting.
It's like serious work though.
And Ladder does look like he is death gripping that wheel.
He's got a large formula-shaped rim and his hands are high up on it. That's not what it is, but he's got his hands just a little bit up from 9 and 3 on the wheel.
Look at the eyes, look at the head turn. Watch where he looks as he comes through a corner. Bit of a glance over at the data. You can see the head that turns, it points itself along the way through the corner. To the left, you'll pick up the braking marker, and then look for the head to turn again as he gets down here. There it is. Tip in point. Keep those eyes as far down the track as you possibly can.
Hold on a second for the moment. 2 laps to go, I think, when they come out of the final corner here.
It will be 12 kilometres, 12.8 Ks worth of racing when they cross the start-finish line, and now Ladder's going to have to get defensive from the teammates.
It's everywhere in these final laps that you can find a fight, including here with 6th and 7th and 8th. Quentin got ahead of Van der Kraan. He's holding it. Chris Miller's ahead of John Latham for the moment. I think McCune's cut a couple of spots through since we last saw him, past Goosey and Varga.
He's now up to 23rd on the road. Something more's happened in that one, and I think John Gallen might have just had an issue. So he's dropped a couple spots, and it might have been with Brad Doble as well.
Travis Hunt? I'm thinking Travis Hunt.
Paul Warwick's had an issue. He's on pit lane at the moment, and Travis Hunt, well, he had an incident point penalty at 15. He has now hit the maximum marker of 17, and he's been disqualified from the race results. So his night is now done. Is that just me, or does David Kirby look a little bit frazzled after 240 kilometres worth of racing?
Looks like his mouth's a bit dry. He's got a nervous moment for these final couple of laps. Apparently still fuel saving a little bit. Craig Friend's the driver directly behind. Darren Crosby's the one behind that.
And he's working exceptionally hard at the moment to try and keep saving fuel when and where he can. And the other cool thing in the background of that David Kirby camera as well that I noticed was a poster from his runner-up championship a couple seasons ago as well. All drivers tend to have a few moments like that they want immortalised. For David Kirby, second place in the championship has been. One lap now of the race for Scott Campbell, because he's just crossed the start-finish line to begin it. So all of these guys are still on their second to last lap. They will have one more lap left to come. Oh, Blake Delaney's... No, Michael Whiting's gone very deep at turn 1, and that's allowed Blake Delaney to cut through.
Yeah, so coming to the final lap, Ken Ladder gets second place. Delaney, if he's got anything left to give, he's got to give it now. Why turn 3? Apparently all he's got left is the headlight flasher, so he's going to give that a red hot go. Ken Ladder is amused. by that, I think.
It's a lot more grinning than Ken Latter's done for the majority of the race here tonight. But they will fight it out on track. They all pit on the same lap too, so they're all on the same distance on their tyres. Chris Miller sits inside the top 10 at the moment. John Latham, though, would like to deny him that, and he's going to get a good run off of turn 3. And we have 3A, the kink at the right-hander. This will be John Latham's second crack on the lap. He did try and have a go all the way back at turn 1. There's not going to be a hole that's going to open up down the inside at turn 5. If they both run it a long way deep down at turn 5. Is that going to present an opportunity for Matt Parker in the background? Not quite. Matt Parker is not quite close enough. There will be another opportunity on the lap. Not much you can be for sure. There is an opportunity down at turn 8, which they're coming to. Scott Gamble, though, on the run towards the final corner. He's through Canada, through Thunder Valley. And again, a driver that looks incredibly clean, clear, and under control. Smooth as you like. He did have to make an overtake tonight. He did lose a spot from the grid, so it's been a little bit more action than we normally see. But for Scott Gamble, the gantry awaits. And this is the battle for second spot. And it's going to be Michael Whiting who'll get home in third.
Delaney was a bit slow.
I wonder whether or not he lifted. Just let him go.
What's going on?
John Latham's not going to get done for the top 10. How good is the fight, though, between Van der Kraan and Poynton for 6th on the road?
Van der Kraan got him. So Van der Kraan's taken Mark Poynton on the final lap there. Great run out of the final quarter in a little drag race.
And this is the battle for 10th spot on the road as well. Yep, Miller will get the job done. Big friend of Homer, Dave Kirby. Darren Crosby.
Bit going on in the final lap with the Stephen Varga pack as well. So Goose is coming across trying to break the toe to Rob Crisdale. No one coughing and spluttering, running out of fuel on their way to the checkered flag, which is always a disaster here at Road America with that sharp uphill through the final corner in the checkered flag.
There was a few drivers in amongst that one towards the tail end. Now we'll have a look a fairway further back. Mario Reale and Robbie Griffiths are still going toe-to-toe on the run of the final corner. Reale's going to come away with the spot to finish us off. So the RaceKraft V8 Veterans from Road America, 250 kilometers. Once again, Scott Gamble takes another win. But for everyone else, it was a great run. There was a lot of overtaking that happened here tonight, which is what we like when we head to Road America. It's a tough track, difficult, challenges you. You've got to be really, really high standards all the way through. We saw a lot of mistakes, I think, here tonight. The racing was reasonable as a result.
Yeah, it sure was racy, and you get a couple of these times where, you know, you defend through turn 1, you're offline down to turn 3, then you're vulnerable down the next straight to turn 5. So little mistakes, little defenses really compound around here into forming up, you know, battle packs and a lot of close racing.
So Scott Gamble takes it away from Ken Latter, Michael Whiting and Blake Delaney here top 4. Michael Stewart's going to come home with a 5th spot, which you'll be very, very happy with. Another consistent race for the 919 machine. Van der Kraan and Mark Poynton had a great fight to the end of the race. 19 thousandths of a second separated those two. Jeff Thomas just in behind them. Damien Cairns and Chris Miller home inside the top 10. We'll at least round out that side of things. John Latham would be disappointed. There was an opportunity for a podium there tonight, and unfortunately got tagged by Logan Barnett and sent around, but a good strong drive back through the field is something to be happy with. Matty Parker from 12th, Dean Flavell, Tim Nicol, Dave Kirby, Craig Friend, Darren Crosby, Chad Lewis, Brad Doble, and David Nash round out your 20. Quite a number of good fights in and amongst all of those drivers as well. Outside the 20, John Gallen manages to come home in 21st. He'll take a reasonable night at the office. 14 spots gained for him. That's a great little drive that he will thoroughly enjoy. Scott McCune from Stephen Varga Darren Goosey, Robert Crisdale, Logan Barnett, Gary Buckland, Jason Fewens, Shane Randall, and Greg Sharp, 30. And we'll throw it over the page. Murray Reale, Robbie Griffiths, Stewie Hall, the last drivers on the lead lap. Christian Smart with the dropout, unfortunately, 1 lap down. Luke Grundell, same issues for him, 2 laps down. Travis Hunt would not finish the race with the incident point limit, also at 2 laps down, as was Paul Warwick, who picked up a drive-through penalty for hitting the incident points as well. Lon Mackay at 3 down. Troy Stone Street, terrible lap for him. Michael Taliancic called it a night after picking up a penalty for himself as well. In 40th spot, 23 laps down, and the last of the drivers. I don't know. I want to change my mind just a little bit on. I'll present 3 options to you for driver of the day, and we'll talk through the merits of each of them. Ken Latta gained 19 spots to finish second, which is a brilliant drive. You have to but you would say you sort of expect that should be about where he's finishing from Ken Latta. So another question mark about them. John Gallen, best finish, I think, in Vets thus far, 21st spot, gained 14 spots across the night. He will be very, very happy with that first season in top split. And then the other one was Luke Grundell, just because of that start, the way that he drove, and because you sit there and you go, you're unlucky, you deserved a podium here tonight, and I want to give you something.
Let's go Gallen. I'll take Gallen.
I think all three are valid, but yeah, let's go for John Gallen.
Unfortunately, we can't make a triple patty chubby buns burger.
Triple cheeseburger chubby buns. Anyway, in terms of our podium, we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. We'll be talking to team boss over at Fishy Motorsports. Michael Whiting manages to finish on the podium. You got to have a whole bunch of fun. We were watching all of that little battle with the teammates towards the tail end there, Michael Whiting. You thoroughly enjoyed that one by the look of that.
Yeah, don't believe what they tell you either. They'll tell you it was team orders to try and keep them behind me, but it's definitely not the case as you saw on the broadcast. But, good fun.
You guys really, really enjoyed that. Like we said, it was just multiple laps where you guys were just side by side through just about every opportunity that you possibly could. It's not often that you get an opportunity to race teammates and not really have a lot of risk on the table, so that looked like... And then we saw a very cheeky grin from Kenny at one point because Delaney was flashing the lights. So all three of you guys are pulling every tool out of the toolbox to have a crack at each other.
Yeah, pretty much. Delaney said to me while we were racing, he goes, don't let me on the broadcast because I'll tell them it was team orders. I said, yeah, righto. So, yeah, it was game on, so just don't hit each other. So, it's always a bit of fun racing teammates. It just goes to show you can actually have a bit of fun and, not push each other off the track.
In terms of things, Road America, happy little hunting ground for the three of you guys. It always comes up and always produces relatively good racing. You enjoyed that one tonight?
Yeah, Road America is one of my favourite tracks, so always like racing there. Scotty got a really good lead. There was an incident just in front of us, which was behind him, and he got a sort of 4 or 5 second lead, and he was gone by that point. So, had been able to stay in the draft with him, might have been a little bit closer, but still take the podium, that's for sure.
Mate, finally, congratulations. Who would you like to give a shout out and a thank you to?
Actually, I'll let Kenny do it this time. He's higher than me, so the usual, the boys at Fishy Motorsports and West End Motor Group and all the other guys, but don't tell him I said that, make him do it.
All right, absolutely. We'll make sure that he knows he's completely and utterly responsible for the big thank yous tonight. Thank you very much, Michael.
Cheers, guys.
We'll move one step further forward, and we will harass and harangue his teammate. Ken, I can confirm that you've been thrown under the bus by the team boss. You are entirely in charge of all the thank yous tonight.
Oh, geez. That's not good.
Mate, we did manage to catch the cheeky grin that you gave because you had Blake Delaney in the background flash on the lights away at you. Was it more distracting to have him talking to you and laughing and joking around, or the headlights?
Oh, yeah, he throws everything at it, so, sometimes you just got to learn to block it out to a certain extent, but, it was all on for young and old on those closing laps with Whiting and I, and Delaney was there to pick up the pieces if we sort of come together wrongly, I suppose.
We're just talking to Michael, what you said, how good is it having the opportunity to just go toe-to-toe, because obviously there was so much of a gap ahead, so much of a gap behind. You rarely get those opportunities to just absolutely throw everything you've got at your teammates. You look like you enjoyed that.
Oh, I certainly do. I mean, we even had practice where you nearly go a few laps side by side, like literally, and and that's what a lot of us all race for. Yes, it's great to win, but that's a big part of it for us, and that's what keeps us here and keeps us coming back.
Mate, in terms of things, drove all the way through from outside the 20s. What happened to the qualifying? Was it an issue with the first lap and you sort of had to go on the second one?
It was that too, and I had Scops practice leading up before it, so because I'm away for the next couple of days, and I knew if I didn't do pre-qual, I wouldn't have a chance later on. So I was probably dialed myself out from the setup a little bit, which which I was really onto it a couple of days ago, but them's the brakes, isn't it? So and then just had a charge for the field.
All right, mate, and finally, the big one. Make sure you don't miss anyone. Who are the thank yous and shout outs you'd like to give here tonight?
The pressure's on. Of course, you guys. It's always a great broadcast, Race Control, all the fishy guys, and West End Motor Group, Infinity Design, DC Shades, Battery Warehouse, Ellie Beach, Precision Sim Training. That's it. Thank you.
All right, we'll be making sure that we check in with the team boss to make sure you got everyone and the report card gets a tick.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kenny. Have a great night, mate.
You too, bud. Cheers.
Finally, we're going to be chatting to tonight's race winner, and I think he thoroughly enjoyed that one. Scotty Gamble takes another race win, but how good was it? Really stepped up, Luke Rundell, and gave you a good run for your money in those opening few laps, mate.
Yeah, how you going, guys? Yeah, he did, didn't he? He was right on it, and bloody packet loss, and yeah, he dropped out. So real shame to him. But credit to him, he rejoined and got back in it, so he didn't give up. But Luke's super fast, as you guys know. He's a good driver, and he races for it. But yeah, real shame. So yeah, after that it was just sort of manage the time, Scotty, and see what the other guys were doing behind me, and go with them and look after the car.
Mate, we're actually just talking to Kenny, and he said he's put a lot of work into Scops for this weekend. Obviously, the Inlaw 500 event coming up. How's the practice and whatnot preparation for that been going for yourself?
No, I haven't been doing it, mate. Family life keeps me away. Sundays is a little bit awkward at those start times, so yeah, I haven't done any, which is a bit of a shame because I really like the way that Scops is running, the way that the drivers are in it. They're awesome drivers, so I would like to do it, but yeah, unfortunate. Life comes first, mate.
As for tonight, Road America, you had a lot of laps around here for the Pro Series a little bit earlier in the year, moving on to the fixed setup, a little bit of a different crack at in terms of things. You look like you enjoyed that one tonight. Yeah,
it was. It was a good race. Like at the start was interesting because the draft is so strong. Like the draft's massive, and especially where we're running full wing. So we had tons of grip, and it was just a matter of managing the tyres early, so you had tyres at the end, and when you had a light car, because light car's fast car at Road America, so just try and manage it a little bit, and then before your pit stops, sort of last 4 or 5 laps, really knuckle down, and you could gain some big time that way. So that was my kind of strategy. But yeah, I did enjoy it, and it was good fun, and there was some really good drives by the looks of it. I was just having a look through the results, and yeah, some really good drives there, and good to see Stewie back up there. Matty Parker, that was an awesome result for him from Split 2. He's come back up into Split 1, so that's a really good result for Matty Parker up into P12.
Yep, there was quite a few of them, including we were just talking about probably the guy we're going to give our driver of the day to, John Gallen, as well. 14 spots gained to 21st as well. So quite a number of drivers that made good runs here tonight. And finally, mate, the floor is all yours to give the thank yous and shout outs that you'd like to give.
Yeah, like to thank the drivers, V8 Veterans drivers. They're what make it. They turn up week in, week out. They're a good bunch of lads. They have fun. They race hard. So well done to Ken tonight, P2. Excellent drive. After a poor qualifying. And Michael Whiting as well. He drove really well up into P3. So well done to them. To my team. Unfortunate for Logan. He's rapid. He's got a little bit to go, but might got caught up in an incident or two there. So. Yeah, unfortunate for him. He's really good. And I know Macca was absolutely disappointed he was missing tonight. So I think he's looking forward to getting back into it. But big shout out to RaceKraft, Turn In Apparel, RSW Graphics, Racing Ease, Prestige Cinematography. To you guys over at SimSpeed, I love your what you do, how you go about it, and look forward to watching this later.
Mate, thank you very much for your time. Have a lovely night, and we'll see you again next week.
Cheers, guys. See ya.
And finally, I've got a very happy welcome to say to John Gallen joining the broadcast booth here tonight, mate. You had some fan support out there in the chat. Joy's your wife, is that correct?
No, that's my mum.
That's your mother. How about that? Well, she's here watching you pick up the Chubby Buns Burgers driver of the day. How about that, Johnny?
Oh, that's awesome. Woohoo! Up the Pelicans.
Mate, in terms of things, you wanted to get yourself ingrained in Split 1. You've sort of been in and around it and improving over the last couple of seasons. How have you been finding just learning on the fly and challenging yourself each and every week?
Mate, it's hard. I come in and I sort of doubt myself a little bit, but yeah, just stick it out, keep going, and you never know. So, no, I'm feeling good. Yeah, my optimal thing was not to get lapped. That was my biggest goal. But yeah, let's see how far I can push up the championship. Yeah, I think I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, it's a total different compared to Split 2. It's last season. This is like so much more faster.
Mate, in terms of things, I think you're at this stage looking like you're on track for automatic qualification. Obviously, the way things are with the new split, there's probably a fair bit of shuffling that might happen at the end of this one. Are you confident to say you think you're enjoying things here in Split 1? You think you'll be able to hang around for another season for Season 22?
Yeah, well, I certainly hope I can get that automatic qualification. I'd love that. Yeah, my steering wheel is a little bit old. Hopefully maybe one day I'll get a little bit of an upgrade for next season and hopefully turn it up a bit, everyone tells me.
Mate, what I was about to say is, well, if Mum's listening out there, any chance you think you can ask Santa for a new steering wheel?
Yeah, right.
Mate, congratulations on the driver of the day and anyone you'd like to thank.
Yeah, I'll thank Chubby Buns for that. Yeah, for Split 1 to get that. That's amazing. I feel awesome. All you guys broadcasting, you Daniel, you Scott, and obviously the race control, the safety cars, and everyone else behind the scenes. Massive shout out to the guys in the team at PER. Mate, without them, I'm pretty much useless. So they backed me up and kicked me out the bum, and I kept going. Do my can. Lake Edge holiday units down at Burrell Lake. If anyone's in the area, duck in, see Mr. Banks, and help you out with some accommodation. Great place. One Shot Pest Management in Ulladulla. Bin the Blade for Balin Foundation. Our partner W Energy Drinks. Tim Nickel Photography, and Player One Sim Gear. Yeah, thanks guys. We wouldn't be able to do it without you.
Mate, congratulations on the achievement here tonight. We look forward to some more strong results before the end of the season.
Yeah, cheers, Scotty. Thanks, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to bring us to the end of another race from the RaceKraft V8 Veterans. The reason that we had Magello all the way back at the start of the episode was because that's we are headed next time out. RaceKraft V8 Veterans will head for round number 6 to Magello, and a couple seasons ago, this one gave us the race of a championship that ended in a tie, and it was decided by one driver spinning their tyres up a little bit too late. Michael Talian just had to have a crack to win himself a championship title. This time, it's right in the middle of the season. Created great racing last time out. Dave Haynes, what do you think of Magello? Should it give us another banger of a round to bring us towards the tail end of 2024?
Well, big long front straight for high speeds into that big stop at turn 1. Bit of a tire eater with some elevation change around the rest of the place. That you can get pasta and pizza and coffee. So I think it's got just about everything. I can look forward to it.
I am looking forward to another cracking race from Magello. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here tonight. We'll join you next Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. I unfortunately won't be around for the next 2 weeks, so I'll be handing it on over to Reese and Dave to bring you all the commentating duties. On behalf of our primary sponsor, RaceKraft Simulations, on behalf of everyone else, though, Player One Sim Gear, SimSpeed, LGC Images, Logitech G, Nova Sim Sports, Parramatta Isuzu Ute, and Chubby Buns Burgers, who gave John Gallen the Driver of the Day award here tonight. Thank you for tuning in to another round of the V8 Veterans Championship. We'll see you all again next week.